Today I wanted to talk about something really basic, but it's something that if you've been working for a while, you'll notice that a lot of people get it wrong, and it's how to set up an effective meeting, how to make a really good first impression on your colleagues, but also how to make sure that you get the most out of the meeting and get what you need in order to move forward. So here we go. The first thing you want to understand is what you actually want to get out of the meeting. In most cases, you want to get key decision makers in a room, you want to tell them the situation, and you want to come to a decision. The second tip to setting up a meeting is to make sure that you get the right people in the room. So first of all, you need to identify who your stakeholders are, which ones have the expertise that you need to make the decision, which ones have other relevant information, and then there'll be other people who are actually the decision makers. There'll be other people who need to sign off on it. You need to understand who each of these people are. People seeing the list that you've put in the agenda might actually suggest other people that they want included, or they might see from that the type of meeting that it's going to be, and they might nominate a proxy. So just be aware of who your stakeholders are. Make sure you can actually get them in the room. You'll find that some people are really busy, and so getting a hold of them is difficult. It's a good idea to check their calendars rather than just sending an invite and expecting everyone to make the time. Check that they're in the office, or that they have access to online meeting facilities so that they can actually attend. Try not to back your meeting with something else, because if their meeting beforehand runs over, you're going to have trouble getting them in the room. Set up an agenda that outlines exactly how you want the meeting to go and what you want to achieve out of it. So the hallmark of a good agenda is that it says what the purpose of the meeting is. If you need to have a safety moment, you need an item dedicated to that so that you can talk about safety. And to get the meeting running smoothly, you might want to pre-prepare that safety moment or any other items that you're required to have on the agenda by your organisation. Make sure that you can cover those off efficiently. Then you want to start talking about the background of the project to bring everyone up to speed. Let them know things that have happened recently and decisions that have been made so that they have a solid context to move forward from. And then you want to start talking about the different items that you want to talk through and the decisions that you want to make in this meeting. So, your agenda shouldn't be more than, 5 to 10 bullet points. Any more than that and you're trying to achieve too much. Also, with the standard meeting, you want to keep the time frame to about an hour, maybe 2 hours if it's a particularly meaty topic. At the end of the agenda, you might also want to include a wrap up of the actions that have come out of the meeting or the decisions that have been made, so that everyone can sit, listen to this summary and agree that, yep, that's what we wanted to do moving forward. And then the last item will be a next steps, where you talk about, okay, who is actually going to do what by when. So you're setting, objectives that everyone is clear on and everyone can achieve. Remember that the people that you've got in the room are actually people. They're going to need toilet breaks. They're going to need breaks to go get coffee. They're going to get tired, like just mentally exhausted from the information that they're being presented, particularly if it's not a project that they're particularly familiar with and they're having to try and remember details of previous conversations or remember a site that they haven't been to for several months. So give them the space to be human and try and keep your expectations or what you can achieve realistic. You need to prep some people beforehand so that they understand what's going on, and when they come into the meeting they can talk to the 2 or 3 key people that they need to talk to, make sure everyone's nodding their head, and then say yes. Make sure that you take the time to thank people for coming to the meeting. It doesn't have to be a big elaborate thank you. Just make sure that you greet them when they come in the room, say thanks for coming, keep it light, set the tone for the open discussion that you want to have in the meeting. At the end of the meeting, thank everyone again for coming. They've taken 2 hours of their day to help you with one of your projects, when they could have been spending that time, forwarding their own agendas and having their own meetings and meeting their own deadlines. After the meeting, make sure that you document the outcomes, the key information that was presented, the decisions that were made, and the actions that came out of the meeting. And then you send that around to stakeholders. You'll be surprised how many times people want to make modifications, particularly to the information that was presented, because you as the note taker or as the meeting chair, you might have thought that you understood the information that was being presented, but there might be finer details that, while you don't understand the relevance of them right now, the experts that presented them do. And what they need is for that information to be captured accurately, because that forms part of the paper trail. And if there's ever any problems, you can always go back and check what was said at this meeting. If it's inaccurate, it puts them in a awkward position as someone who's given that information and then signed off on it. So make sure that you give people the opportunity to read through the notes and confirm them for accuracy. So those are my tips for hosting a successful meeting. If you're interested, I can go into more detail. I hope that this video has inspired you to lift your meeting game.